Hello, RailCats fans, and welcome back to the RailCats Talk podcast. I'm your host, Kyle Savetic, and today we will be discussing a bit of a review, I would say, in mostly the month of May. Uh, so, with the month going through and the games going by, um, the RailCats really have come out to a rough start. Um, the plus side to it is one, they haven't been swept yet. They're winning games, but they're not putting anything together. They're not being consistent enough uh, to string some wins across, things like that. They've either had really good games or really bad games. It could be a pitching game. It could be just the batting. Something's going on. I mean, the beginning of the season was just batting wise was just kind of rough. But right now, at the point they stand at in the month of May, they're 6-12. They're second to last in the East. I believe it is. Let me pull up the standings real quick. It's the Cleburne Railroaders who are at 3-12. I know they had a couple games canceled. They were like an 8-game losing streak. So I mean that's a positive. There haven't been more than 2 games in a row that they've really been losing. I know they're on a 2-game losing streak now, especially with losing to the Lake County Hound Dogs. Like Hound Dogs, that's not hot dogs. That team, the new team that's in the league right now. Lake Country. My bad, Lake Country Dock Hounds. There we go. There's just a lot of country hounds and things like that. But nonetheless, with a doubleheader on Sunday, day before Memorial Day. No, actually, no, it should have been on Memorial Day. My bad. Memorial Day. That they lost 6-0, and then they lost 4-3. I think in the first game. In the second game, they lost 6-0. Like I said, I didn't watch any of the games. I was out of town basically with my family, my fiance's family, so I was kind of away from the game for a little bit. So I didn't really get to see a lot of it. But I mean, so far, I think the big stories really have been the pitching dominance from the starting pitching has been very good. Some of the relief pitching has been a little finicky, but I think that's starting to kind of simmer down a little bit. I know Carlos Vega had a really rough start, but now he's starting to kind of turn it back around. As far as that, when I look over here at the pitching aspect of it, I think Aaron Phelps has been very good. Jake Arzenberger has been very good when he's come in. Robbie Corsell, he's been halfway decent. He's only given up 5. He has a 4.82 ERA, but that happens when you're relief pitching. Carlos Vega, like I said, he's at a 9.64 right now, but he's come back in that realm of things and slowed down. He had a really rough start. I forget what game it was where his ERA just shot. It was my bad. It was 2 games. Milwaukee, he had a high ERA. Well, he's had a higher ERA most of the time, but his highest ERA was the 13-0 loss to Chicago on I think it was the third game of the year. But just relief pitching, that kind of happens, that was the highest that he was at. He's gone down, except he went back up against Kansas City. These are current. The ERA that isn't in the game, or the when I look at the stats, it doesn't show you the stat ERA. It just shows you like the overall ERA, because there's a couple he didn't give up an earned run, but he had an ERA of 9.39. So just that doesn't make any sense. But he's gone down from there. I mean, looking at the earned runs average, I mean, that first game in Chicago really hurt him, giving up 4 runs in an inning and a half, basically. And then he's limited it down. His best game of the year would have been against Kansas City. They did lose, but he had 7 strikeouts. And I think 7 of them were like in a row. It was like 6 or 7 were exactly in a row. He came in and shut the door down on that one. So he's been turning it around. He's getting a lot better. Yeah, the Milwaukee game where they came back and won. He gave up 2 runs, but that happens. So your relief pitcher is going to happen. He's been very good as far as that. I think Harrison Francis has came in a couple of times. I think he's been better in the relief appearance than he has the starting appearance. I think his control just needs to get a little bit better. But I mean, the starting pitching has been what the RailCats are known for behind Leaf Strom. Adam Heidenfeld, I know he had a rough game in his last start. John Cheeks has been very good. I think Jake Eisenberg has been very good as well when he's come in and start. So it's just been one of those that you really haven't, what am I looking at it for is when you're looking at the pitching appearance, what you're seeing from the pitchers or from at least the starting aspect of it. I know with the way Lamar Rogers has run his pitching staff, it's kind of been you can start here and you may get a relief appearance here. Like it's kind of interchanging, so it's not like you're consistent. Here's your 5 starters, they start every 5 days. Sometimes it's kind of hard to say who's a reliever and who's a starter at this point. But I mean, from the people that have started, has been very good. I think the only one that we haven't seen start a game since his first pitching was Ilio Serrano, who he pitched 1 inning and that was it. Like he hasn't pitched more than an inning and a half, and so we haven't seen anything. I don't know what's going on with him because I know Edward Cuello went out at the home opener against the Lincoln Salt Dogs, but he also got injured and he's on the injured reserve list right now. So not sure exactly what's going on with that one, but I mean he's been the other starter. So, but other than that, you really haven't. And then Trevor Lubbock's also got hurt. So I mean everyone's been used except Lubbock and Serrano. I mean, well, Serrano more than likely is the only ones that haven't been used more than 3 innings because I don't know, with everyone else, the way they've been pitching very decently. It's been the offensive side that's kind of like, well, the team ERA is at 4.76, and you take out Ilio Serrano's, Edward Cuello's, I mean that's gonna shoot it down even more. I mean you're still under giving up 5 earned runs a game. In total, they've been 97. Let's see. All right, here's the funny part. So there's been 97 runs scored on the RailCats, but only 81 have been earned. So that's the price to pay. I mean, that's a lot of time. That's a lot of errors on the defense. When you're looking at it that way, I think their total of I just want the full. That's not giving me the full. I was hoping to see the fielding the whole list of errors, but I mean that's still you're still getting a lot of errors for the defensive side of things, and that's kind of hurt. And even the offensive, they haven't really scored. Right now, they have a total of 60 runs. I mean, you're giving up 97 runs versus 60 runs. You're not going to win a lot of games. That's just the very beginning of the year has been really rough. They're just not really scoring a lot. I mean, you saw that in spring training. They weren't scoring. They would score and they wouldn't score. So it's been kind of going back and forth. The batting averages were absolutely horrendous. I mean, there wasn't anyone in the 3s and no one in the 250s, and not a lot of walks, but it's slowly starting to come back around. I would say even infield defensive is still a little bit wobbly. Michael Woodworth kind of still a little bit scares me on a couple of the way he's been playing. They've been turning it around. I mean, Daniel Mungwa had a couple. I know he had one that they were winning against the Milkmen, and it was a hard shot. He missed it, and it just kind of rallied them together, and they ended up losing in a walk-off. I believe that was a Friday night game, the last Friday night game. But then Tom Walraven has turned around. He's been spectacular. He's been like Gold Glove material over there in third base. He's gotten a lot better, and his hitting starting to kind of come around a little bit, not by much. But I mean, when you start a slow start, having a game here or there where you're off your batting average, you may have a 3 for 4 night, and then you go another night and you only 0 for 1. With how, I mean, I think he went 3 or 4 games without getting a hit. So I mean, just when the batting average is that low, it's hard to kind of pick it back up. But one player that really has done that is Daniel Ingwall. He has taken his batting average to, he's right now at a 382. He's been hitting outstanding. He's been one of the bright spots. Even Jackson Smith coming in as a catcher when Cruz got hurt, he's been coming in as a bright spot as well. But outfield, there hasn't been a lot of issues in the outfield. Olin's been doing really well out there. Javian Williams, when he's been healthy and playing, has looked very good as well. Even Rooker, when he's been out there. Ray Jones, who's now no longer with the team, he was released today, I believe. He had a couple big catches in left field when needed. But I mean, you're bringing back Zach Wells, is back on the team. Is it? Make sure. Yeah, Zach Wells, who's been playing the fan controlled football league. He's been over there. I think his team got knocked out or whatever, so now he's back playing here with the RailCats, and looks like his third year with the RailCats as well. So that he brings another consistent spot coming in with that, but then also bringing in Zach Racusin, who is newly signed, who has been doing something the RailCats have not been doing. Him and both Sam Abbott have been doing something the RailCats can't be doing, or haven't been doing. Sam has 2 home runs. His first home run was in the first game on the first swing, hit a home run. He's up to 2 in 7 games. And Zach Racusin has 3 home runs in 7 games. So those two have been the 2 power hitters that they've needed. You're gonna have a nice little bit rotation here at first base. I know Chris Burgess has been playing very well at first base, but I think with Sam Abbott having that left-handed power bat, playing that first base role, getting that power, I think he will be helping the team elevate a little bit further. So I think you might be your outfield is going to be a little bit more stationary now. I think you'll have a little bit of rotation with Rasmussen and Wells. I think Olin has put a spot in where he's going to probably stay in right or left. Javian Williams will probably mostly play center just because his speed is just, yeah, he can play the outfield. His speed is there. I think the batting will eventually come. He's just been hurt. He made his second diving catch of the year that he made was really great. He hurt his wrist, I believe it was, so he was out for a couple weeks, and then he comes back and gets hit in the face with a fastball that didn't do any like structural damage. He just got a gash in his cheek, sewed that up, and he's been fine. He's been back at it as well. So, looking also at the injuries as well, I know, like I said, we've lost Trevor Love King, who is a top 25 player by the American Association. He's number 25 for this year. Edward Cuello has also been out. Like I said, Javian Williams has been hurt a couple times. Chris Burgess has been hurt, I think, once or twice, or more than likely Michael Cruz. That's what really brought in Jackson Smith, who has an unorthodox swing. He still swings with 2 hands all the way through. He doesn't let go of that one hand, the power hand, when swinging through. So, but he's been interesting to watch as well. He's batting at .313. Just going down the list of averages here, Zach Racusin is batting at .308 in 7 games. He's been another solid piece that they've needed. He has 3 home runs, which were all solo home runs, but still, nonetheless, getting 2 people in the lineup that can hit home runs was going to help solidify a little bit more of the roles of where everyone's going to be playing, and so on and so forth. Michael Woodworth has turned it around, from a rough start now to a batting average of .224. Sam Abbott, like I said, he's going to be more of your power hitter. He's going to be the one that's going to hit, 1 home run every other handful of games. He may get a double here. He will be a nice piece that the power that you were probably expecting from Chris Burgess that you're not really getting yet. Michael Cruz is at 213. He's raised that a little bit, but he was your like cleanup hitter. That's your power guy, and he is yet to hit a home run. Alec Oled, who's been playing very well as well. Him and Daniel and both have grand slams in this season. He's batting at 206. Chris Burgess at a 190. Wall Raven at a 172. Also, MJ Rookard, both at a 172. Wall Raven has got himself out of the hole. He is slowly working his way back to being successful, where what the RailCats fans have been expected. And then JV Williams at a 149. Like I said, he's been out a handful of games. We played 18 games. He's missed at least 5 games just due to injury. But looking at the leaders of batting, so basically Daniel Lingual has all of them. He is the one that has all of them. He's leading the team with an average of 382, 11 runs, 21 hits, tied for most doubles with 5 with Alec Oled. Has 2 triples, tied with Michael Woodworth. Lingual has 11 RBIs, 10 walks, 8 stolen bases. And then the only spots he's not leading is the home runs, where Zachary Cruz only has 3 of them. I shouldn't say he only has 3. He's going to get more. I mean, in 7 games, you have 3 home runs. It's pretty impressive. So, I mean, Lingual is the spark plug, but also the finisher, just because he's batting mostly in the 9 hole, which I mean it's fine if that's going to work for him and leave him at the 9 hole, and if it's going to work for the team, leave him there. But to me personally, I think I would rather have a guy that's going to have more at bats, that's going to be more of a spark plug. So I would like to see him more maybe in that the leadoff batter, or maybe 3rd, 5th, around there. I think you may want to move Javian to the 9th hole hitter. I think he might be better down there. Your second leadoff hitter, quote unquote, how you want to run that. I think you have a couple of them that can play that. Even like MJ Rookard would be suffice there as well. Maybe even a Tom Wallraven. He might be better at a 9 hole. Just one of those things that I think would be better for Lamar to do. But yet again, I'm not the one that makes the lineup card. I'm not the one that's in the clubhouse. I don't know how the players are fielding, that kind of stuff. Now looking at pitchers, Harrison Francis has the most pitched innings pitched at least is 17 and 1/3. Leafstrom has the most strikeouts at 21. John Cheeks has the lowest ERA with more than 3 innings pitched at a 1.01. He has been absolute lights out. Like I said, this pitching staff has been lights out. Adam Heidenfeller has been lights out. Leafstrom's been lights out. John Cheeks has been lights out. I mean, if Trevor Lubking was still not injured, I think he would still be lights out. But then some bigger news as well. Ray Jones was released today. KB Edwards was released as well. And then Donovan Williams was released a couple weeks ago. He was released, not a couple days ago, before the weekend hit. They made room for him got rid of him to make room for Sam Abbott and Zach Cusin. So, I mean, the one that I'm the biggest surprised about is probably KB. He's been able to play multiple positions. He does have a speed. He does have a good defensive element to him. And out of, his batting average is higher than Burgess, Wallraven, Rookard, and Javian Williams as well. So I was kind of shocked by that one. I would have maybe expected MJ Rookard may have been the one to get released, but like I said, I don't know. I mean, maybe even another pitcher, but I think at this point it's harder to replace pitchers than it is fielders, just because pitching has become such a important part to any team. Pitching has always been important, but I think nowadays it's more important than anything, just because of spin rate, how fast balls are coming in. Like if you have to have a dominant bullpen, a dominant starting pitcher to really compete in any games. I mean, you don't see a lot of major league teams or a lot of these teams in the American Association that don't have lights out pitching. Like, you just need that. Then when the offense comes around, then you can kind of pick up and go from there. Like I said, the team has had its ups and downs. But I mean, overall, you can't really be dissatisfied with the season fully yet. I mean, you're still competitive. I mean, with them opening up the playoffs, you're still able to compete for a playoff spot. That's one thing that they still be able to do. When you look here at the division leaders standings, they have to get to they gotta jump the milkmen. I mean, that's who you're competing with. Basically, is the milkmen, because they're taking the top 4 from each division, and you're second from last year. You're right there. You're 2 games basically from the milkmen, and that series with the milkmen was a big one. So I think that you're still you're still competing for a spot. I mean, you can even put them at 3.5 games back. Because the RailCats are 5.5 from the top from the King County Cougars. I mean, you're going to have a tough year. I mean, you're still in a very tough division. I don't think that the player. I mean, you're not there yet. I mean, I don't think this team's there yet offensively, but it's seeming like it's coming around. I mean, when you're looking at the East Division leaders, Lingual is just behind Sendo in the batting average at 382. But I mean, the big one has probably been the home runs, except Zach Rasmussen has 3. But I mean, when you look at all the home run, you don't have a lot of players there. That the RailCats have, the power just hasn't been. I guess the part that is that you brought in Chris Burgess, you brought in Michael Cruz to be that power hitters, and you haven't seen that production from them yet. But then, you bring in 2 guys. I mean, Sam Abbott has been playing in the White Sox organization, so that helps out a lot when you have someone that's been playing there and he's just coming into a new league. I know it's been rookie ball, but still, nonetheless, that's what you're expecting from. I mean, even Chris Burgess or coming from Salt Lake, that kind of stuff. Let me before I say that, may be wrong. I thought that's not what I want. That's not what I want. What do I want? What do I want? I'm looking for it. I'm looking for it right now. It had the roster. There we go. Yeah, Michael Cruz was from Salt Lake. That's you're expecting him to be your power hitter, and he quite hasn't been there yet. But I think that the things are coming around for the RailCats. Once the hitting starts to come around, I think you'll have a better way looking forward, I would say. I mean, yeah, you took the loss against the Lake Country Dock Hounds. That was a rough one, I would say. But I mean, now you're getting back into a little bit, dangerous territory here with some of these teams that you're going to be facing in June. Sioux City, I believe, is the next series after the Lake Country Dock Hounds. They play them Friday, so they have a couple days of rest. Like I said, they've been playing almost every day. So I mean that kind of has a little bit of wear and tear on the body as well. But at least they have a day off today, which will be coming out on Tuesday. So, I mean Tuesday, then they'll play Wednesday, and then they'll have Thursday off, and then they'll play Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They'll be on the road for 2 series, and they come back and play Sioux City again. And then they play Sioux Falls. And then they have a little bit of a homestand against Fargo, Moorheads, then King County again, and then they head back to Milwaukee, and then they play Chicago at home, and then they go to Kansas City, and then they have another homestead against Lake Country. Oh well, my bad. The Chicago series and the first one at home will end the June month. So that's, I mean, you're looking at some of these teams, and they're going to be it's going to be a hard battle. I mean, when you're looking at standings from not just the East, but Fargo is number one. I mean, I guess Sioux Falls and Sioux City really haven't. They kind of caught fire. Now they're kind of not. One of them were. So I think Sioux Falls and Sioux Cities, them coming in, I think they might have a better shot with those. But the Fargo Moorheads, they're going to be a tough one. Lincoln Salt Dogs, which is going to be a tough one as well. I mean, facing a lot of teams from the West, you want to try to pull some of these out. But even within your own division, with the Lake Country Dockhounds being as successful as they are, that's still one of those that they have to battle through a little bit. But I'll be interested to see what they're going to do, how they're going to roll out, how the teams are going to be going into this. I mean, it looks like they're going to maybe catch a little bit of lightning in the bottle and start putting on a little bit more pressure. I would just like to see them close out a game a little bit better. The one game that I was kind of frustrated with a tad bit was the Friday, the May 27th game at Milwaukee, against Milwaukee. That's not the one I wanted. No, here we go. Here, so I'm just it's kind of last minute one. I mean, they got up early on the Milkmen. They scored in the first inning. They were up 5-0 into the sixth. Then that's when so Sheeks was replaced. He had a dominant. He gave up one run in the sixth. But then they brought in Chris Irwin, who pitched very well. I'm not saying that he didn't pitch very well in that game, because he did. He had 5 strikeouts, but the issue was that he was kept in, to me personally, too long. I think after you give up the second run in the 7th to make it a 5-2 game, he should have been pulled. But they kept him in, and he gave up 2 runs in the 8th, and then he ultimately gave up the walk-off home run to Keenan Barham, who was like the MVP. I mean, this guy's a good at bat, but the issue was that you gave him, and it wasn't like he was getting hit. Like, it wasn't like he walked a person and it kind of run into it, and then he gave a hit, and it was just, he was being hit, and he was being hit hard. And I think when you have the bullpen that you have, you should have been able to use someone. You have enough people, and then with the mismatching, I don't think you should have that was their perfect time to win a game and be able to win a series, win a game go on a winning streak. At that point would have been nice, because they got back from beating Kansas City in a great 3-4 game, and then you go to Milwaukee and you have a 5-0 lead, then it turns into a 5-1 lead, and then a 5-2 lead. Then at that point the panic button needs to kind of start getting pushed a little bit. But like, no one was warming up, there was nothing there, and then you gave up the 2 more runs to make it a 5-4 game. And then, to me personally, I think something's got to be replaced there. And then they get the hit in the 9th, and still no one's in the bullpen. And the next thing you know, the home run, someone was in the bullpen. I wasn't sure who it was, but then all of a sudden the home run hits and it's over. So I don't know if I would really blame the players on that one. I would kind of look at the coaching staff and say, hey, what happened here? what was the thought process? Why did you not replace him? I mean, it's just one of those. It's a fatigue. He's a relief pitcher. He's not a starter. He's going to come in and pitch a couple innings here and there. But that was your prime opportunity to almost take something and kind of run with it, because you never know. You could have, yeah, you got blown out in the second game, but then, you came back and won. The Sunday matchup. So I think it would have looked a little bit better on paper if they would have done something. You might have caught momentum a little bit, maybe took the series, and then you rolled in home on Memorial Day against Lake Country, and could have battled something out there as well. But it's one of those things you kind of look back in the season that could have been a turning point, but we're gonna look at it as not. So it is what it is. So yeah, that's gonna wrap it up for me. If you enjoy the podcast, leave a like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube. Be sure to follow me on Twitter and Facebook. That's where I do most of my posting as well. So if you have anything you want to say, comments, anything like that, don't be afraid. I like to talk about some baseball and other things like that. So I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, rest of your evening when you're listening to this, and go Cats.